Morning team, back with Ali this morning.
Good boy.
We've just stopped for some coffee at his friend's coffee stop. Yeah?
Bikaner is a famous tea stall.
Famous tea store.
Yeah.
Always a famous tea store. But our mission this morning is to go to a place called Jorbeer, which is I think it's a conservation reserve, but it's also a place where, morning my friend, everyone's so busy here. It's also a conservation reserve, but I think it's also a place where they ditch animal carcasses, and they do it in a way that's actually quite regulated, because I think years ago the cows and everything and the animals were fed and they had antibiotics within their system, and then the vultures, the eagles that we're hoping to see today, used to eat that meat and then used to die within days because it wasn't good for their kidneys or something. So every animal carcass that goes there is tested. Hey, look at this knowledge so early in the morning. And so I spoke to a guy in the place that I'm staying in. He said I should really go if I want to get pictures of eagles and vultures and all that kind of stuff. So luckily, nose is still blocked, so I shouldn't be able to smell it, but hopefully we're going to get some cool pictures of some big birds.
Not open the ticket window here.
Usually ticket window. I
Ticket
think it's for free. I think it's for free. So this is Jorbeer or Jorbeer.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, so Jorbeer. And on the way in, so many big birds. Vultures, I think, not being an ornithologist, I saw vultures and I saw eagle on the way in. There's a big board just up here that's going to tell me what's going on. And now, I'm not really a wildlife photographer, but surely birds can't be that hard to photograph, can they? I've got the big boy on, and Jorbeer, that's what it says. Jorbeer Conservation Reserve, avian diversity of Jorbeer. The booted eagle, shikra, spotted owlet, eagle, white-tailed eagle, falcon, white-eyed buzzard. They've got everything. Everything is here. So let's see if we can spot them all. Eagles, vultures, griffin. I think it said griffin, or did it say Gryffindor? Anyway, we're going to need a little bit of magic today to try and get these birds. It's still quite cool, although it's sunny. Most of them will just be chilling in the trees. But the guy that I saw that told me about this place yesterday, he found a space, and I saw a picture, and there was literally hundreds of these big birds just all chilling around on the floor. So I'm going to photograph this white bird in the tree and get cracking, and I'll check in later if I find a big patch of them. You join me here in the bush. There's another bird flies past my camera, not into my camera. They've got these amazing real-life fake trees, which is basically a pretty epic branch for the birds to perch on, and then a scaffold pole. So they're scattered everywhere around here. You can probably see in the distance there's a couple of vultures hanging out on the branch there, but it is really bloody difficult to get close to them. These two here, I say vultures, they might not all be vultures, they're just big birds. But there's another bunch down there, And I think my stealth move today is to move as close as I can and just be ready with the right, got two birds on one of these fake trees, and I'm tucked right in behind this bush. Got it full length, and basically I'm using the bush to frame the birds so they're not just there against the blue sky. So the bush is actually really blurred, so it's just adding a touch of depth and framing to the picture. But the birds are just chilling, sitting there. Have a look. Still in the bush. I'm not the stealthiest wildlife photographer, but these birds are quite patient, bordering on boring, until you just try and get that little bit closer, and if you've got the timing right, as they all launch up into the air, because otherwise they're just sitting on the trees, doing their thing, doing the bird thing. Birds, you're supposed to fly and make it easier for me to take a picture. But this part here is a building here with a load of birds standing on top of. That's going to be quite a cool one to stealth out. Another big tree full of birds down here. So a quick update. I've walked a lot further down into the park, and it's obvious that just over here is where all the carcasses. I can see lots of bones and ribs and all sorts of stuff, but shit tons of dogs. So what I've done is give my driver a call and told him to come in. At least that way I can jump inside the tuk-tuk and we can speed off it if there's a problem, because dogs are bad enough, but dogs around meat, hungry dogs, crazy dogs, I'm not playing that game. So let's get the driver in. I can see him coming down the road now, and at least I'll have some shelter from the sun and somewhere to perch myself to make some pictures with a bit of protection. I'm pretty close, but not too close. This is definitely getting smelly. The aim is to try and get at least a couple of pictures of some birds with some bones or something around them. But look, they're flying because I'm scaring the crap out of them. Picture. Enjoy me sitting in the bones and the leftovers to try and get a bit more stability, because I'm just sitting here like 50 yards away from a griffin. It's massive, and just taking pics as and when, a bit of video. Slightly hope that it will fly, but it's a big bird that will take big energy or something big to scare it. So just watching out for all these dogs. They're pretty chill at the moment. But yeah, it's warming up. Yeah, just over here you've got all of some of the carcasses. Just over here you've got my fellow photographer friend that I met here, and yeah, it's a good time, but a quiet time, and I don't want to miss the the moment, so let's crack on. I think I just breathed in death. Getting a bit braver now, but the dogs, they've kind of taken over the show. But these little white birds are riding, they're surfing the dogs, so they're on the backs of the dogs as the dogs are chowing down on the meat. So just moving around, keeping an ear out, keeping an eye out, because if those dogs decide to bolt, I'm going to climb a tree. So the process, as far as I can see, is that the animals get brought here, they get skinned, left in the middle for the dogs and the birds to eat. Then those skins get dried in this shed here in the sunshine, and then they get loaded onto this vehicle by these guys, who probably are the same guys that skinned the animals in the first place. It's like absolutely boneyard here. So there's piles of bones, piles of meat, dogs, birds, and then piles of skins. So just here making a few shots of the guys loading the skins, and then hopefully they'll be cool and we can sit for a minute and make some portraits. So sun is bright, so that's not necessarily helping, but yeah, we will see what we can do. But amazing subject. What a walk. Just moved further away from the truck to get a longer perspective in, to compress the background and the foreground, but just give a really nice perspective on these guys standing in the lorry, receiving the skins and then slinging them up onto the big pile. So when you actually zoom in, it just compresses everything and just gives it a really nice shape. If you're shooting too wide, then everything is whoop. So standing back and zooming in is sometimes a good shout. So that's what I'm doing from this far back. Quick change of plan. My tuk-tuk man called me and I asked him to come closer to the truck. I think maybe he's now stuck in the sand. Are you stuck? Man is stuck, look at this. Yeah, no problem, we'll push. But I've swapped to the wider lens in a hope that they might let me on top of the truck to get a shot downwards as they're loading it. This will also enable me to get a bit closer to them to make some pictures and a bit more of a connection, and I can easily show them what's going on. All right, I've got to be quick because they're throwing these cow hides at me, but we made it up on top of the truck, made a few pictures, mission accomplished. They're definitely going to want cash, but amazing. What did I do to myself? It stinks and I'm trying not to breathe. Thank you guys. Smile. 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 My God, it's 12 o'clock. I left my house at just after 7:30 this morning, and so I haven't had breakfast yet. The dogs have certainly had their breakfast, and it's heating up and it's getting a bit smelly. But you know me, birds are one thing, dogs are another thing, but humans are my thing. So I needed a human connection with this place, with Jorbeer Conservation Park, that I could really feel like I connected with my pictures. So Naturally, I wasn't going to steam into the middle of the pack while the dogs were eating and the men were slicing up the meat. But a bit later on, I made my way through and spoke to the guys that were putting the skins in the truck. And initially, they were more than happy to have a few pictures taken. And then naturally, because they're at work, pocket money. Yeah, no problem. So I had a really good idea in mind, I think. Hopefully it's worked, to make a nice portrait of the team all standing on top of the truck from that slightly longer distance side on. So they're all lined up across the top. I got 5 of them in the picture, so I'm happy with that. And then just before they all got down, I ran to the back side of the truck and made a few portraits of them standing at the back of the truck. Very similar to the picture I made in Bangladesh of the guys in the bus. So it just felt like a natural thing to do. I think I gave them 1,000 rupees. And to them it's a huge amount, but it's about 10 quid. And for 7, 8, 9 of them to give me a bit of their time, I'm more than happy to do that, absolutely. It doesn't happen all the time, but these guys and the pictures I got absolutely made everything happen, made them happy, made me happy, and that's how I like to leave it. So it's getting hot, I'm waffling, I'm hungry. A few more minutes here and then take the tuk-tuk back in towards Bikaner, and then get some food, some coffee, some water, and then maybe just spend the afternoon looking at the images and resting. But incredible morning. Thought I was going to get eaten by dogs at one point, taken by a griffin, but ultimately I've survived. Needed to push the tuk-tuk out of the sand. I took a lot of video with this and needed to concentrate a bit more than usual, so let's see how I put it all together. But from Jorbeer Conservation Park, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Jorbeer. Thank you, Ali, having a party in his tuk-tuk. And thank you to the birds and the dogs for not taking my head off. But look at them all. Look at them all. They're everywhere now, flying around. The thermals have kicked in and they're enjoying just a cruise around the sky, stretching their wings, which is exactly what I can't do anymore because this wing is run out of blood. Peace.